Sorry. Man, talk about awesome. So as you can see, they're waving the green flag in the air because green team won. So, but to keep us on pace, we would love to recognize those who got baptized. So if you got baptized today, would you please stand up? Come on. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. It is, man, tell you what, this is a camp that I've never experienced before. I've been to camps, I've been to secular camp, but you want to talk about wrestling up and messing with the enemy? You know you're doing something right. You know you're doing something right when the enemy starts getting mad and attacking. You know you're doing something right when the enemy starts messing with you. Because if you're not, you guys might be walking the same way. So, just a challenge out there. If you're not bumping heads with the enemy, you might be running the same way. So, we would love if you have signed up for a testimonial, because we'd love to share, and we'd love for you to hear a lot of these lives that were changed. And if you signed up to give your testimony, would you please come up on stage? Come on, don't be shy. If you sign up to give your testimony, come up on stage. Come on.
I just want to say something, though, really quick.
Yes. Go ahead.
My husband likes to hug the mic.
Go ahead, wife.
You guys, you faced incredible opposition this week. This last week. And I just want to say well done. You guys stood up to the enemy, and you guys were like, we're going to get free. We're going to see our lives changed. And I just want to say that is so incredible. It was, for me to see, it was so awesome. God has great things in store for each of you guys. What happened at camp is just the beginning. You know, you'll hear me and Spencer a lot of times talk about the young lions, because that's what we believe you guys are. You're young lions. You're leading the charge. You guys are the change. And we don't say that lightly. God has given you guys a strength and a persistence to keep going, and you guys showed that at camp. So I just applaud you guys for what you did.
And those of you, I want to recognize those who sowed into these kids' lives. You are part of that kingdom difference.
Yeah.
You may not have gone gone to sleep at 2 a.m., woke up at 5 a.m., but here's what you did do. Here's what you did, is you gave. And as you give, the Lord also rewards you as well. So don't ever think that whatever you give is in vain, because the Lord rewards that as well. And because you are faithful to give, He is faithful to bless. So thank you so much. So we will start off with our first Sam. And you'll say right up here after you're done. Just go right back, okay? Yeah, you'll go back after.
So I went to camp not thinking I would, just going to camp just as a regular camp, not thinking I would come out how I came out, and finding God more and getting closer to Him. So it really brought me closer to Him, the camp, and it just made me more fuller in Him, yeah. And so, yeah.
Love it. Awesome.
Man, I just want to say camp was absolutely amazing. I mean, I came in a little bit last minute, but I mean, to the OCC family, you guys have been nothing but so welcoming, so family. I mean, as soon as I came in, it was just open arms family. And I just really want to just shout out a thank you to that. You guys are awesome. I just want to testify that this camp, God put a whole new vision in my heart as a leader. And man, he wrecked me by seeing what He was doing in this generation and in the youth. That nothing is impossible through God. And He really spoke to me, and the testimony I want to share is that the seed that God is planting in each and every student is the seed of revival. And it doesn't matter how young, how old, or like Mallory was saying, there's no junior Holy Spirit. But God is putting seeds in this camp for them to go into their schools, into their families, into every area and totally take over with the authority that I have. It's nothing is impossible through God. And I just seen God sweep over this generation, those who are just a hunger and desire and a fire. This state and this nation needs a generation with the fire and desire I saw at camp. And that's what's gonna shake this world. So that's what God spoke to me. Thank you guys.
All right, well, I just want to start off with camp was an amazing experience, and I wish all of you guys could experience it because it was fantastic. But before camp, I was in a dark place, going down dark road, and I wasn't myself, and it was bad. And I went to this camp, still not believing God, and I always thought my relationship with God was my parents. I would come to church, and I didn't really have real connection. And so I didn't know what to expect coming here. And then the first day I was there, I already felt it. It was great. I prayed. One of the things I prayed every single night during every service was for God to speak with me and help me, guide me on the right path, the path that he wants for me, and to surround me with the community to help me do that. And every day I would have people pray for me, people come to me, and I would make new friends. And it was just great being surrounded by everyone who I was, because you guys have really helped me. And then one of the services, I just kept praying the same thing. And then I was there, and everyone surrounded me and prayed for me. And then I realized that this was God's way of talking to me and connecting with me. I prayed for him to bring me around a better community and for people, and that's what happened. And then I was happy. God talked to me, and that was his way, and it was great. And then after that, I asked him to keep bringing me forward and bring me out the darkness, and showed me the light, and he did give me a glimpse of that. And I was just so grateful and so happy, and I'm just ready to keep moving forward and spread that light that God gave to me on to everybody else, and to show them what he could do and how much he could change your life, because that camp has changed me forever. The people, and is the best thing that's ever happened to me. And I'm just so thankful and so grateful for everybody that's helped me.
Hello. Before camp, I would say I was lost and I was confused. And to be honest, I was kind of angry at God, because people would talk about the miracles that God gives you, and I wasn't getting those miracles. I was sad and I was unhappy on where I am. And then my dad signed me up for this camp, and I didn't want to go that much. I was kind of just like, okay, it's just a summer camp. I'll get it over. It's 4 days. And those 4 days have changed my life in ways I can't explain. The people I've met, the people that prayed for me, just everyone there has supported me so much. And even God himself has found a way to move himself into my heart. And I know that life won't be easy, but because I love God and because I know God loves me, that it's gonna be so much better, and it's gonna be so much great, and it's gonna be awesome. And that's it.
For a while before, like a few days after I turned 14, I got a call, and I found out that one of my oldest brothers had passed away of a motorcycle accident. And for a while I was lost, and I didn't know what to feel. I was angry. I always thought that I could have changed something, and I knew I couldn't, but I burdened myself with thoughts that wasn't good for myself. And I started getting in the habit of going to Bible studies with close friends. And one night I had thoughts that weren't good for myself, and I almost ended up taking my life. And a week after that, I got delivered. I got prayed over, and it was so strong. And I decided, because of that change, I got baptized, and I wasn't in the worst times, but I was trying to pull myself closer to God. And when I came to the camp, I didn't know what to expect. And it was such an amazing feeling, just already not knowing anyone and coming. It just felt so amazing getting to know people. And the Holy Spirit really filled the peace that wasn't there after my brother had passed. And everyone there was so nice, and I'm so thankful for everyone that was there.
Hi. Hi guys, my name is Madison, and I'm one of the junior high girl leaders for our youth group. This is my second year at camp. And last year was also amazing, such a great year, but I just struggled with like a lot of insecurity and just doubting that God, not that he could use me, but that he would use me. And I would always, I just had a lot of fear of just other people's perceptions of me, and fear of man, and fear of failure. So I got so nervous, like to either speak in front of students or even pray over students, because, you know, I don't have the right words. But I guess kind of throughout this past year, I realized, like, yes, I don't have the right words, I don't have the strength, but God does. And just kind of this past year, I just created space for the Lord to move in my heart and in my life in that way, and just kind of just rooting my confidence and security in him. And so yeah, this camp was just so amazing and beautiful, just kind of experiencing, like, trusting in him in that way. And just his voice was louder than it ever, and clearer than it ever has been in my life. And it was just such a privilege, just feeling his love for these students. So I'm gonna get like emotional. But it's just so beautiful being able to experience and be a part of just how the Lord is training up his children and this next generation of spiritual leaders. And just as everyone is saying, like, I'm so just happy, and it's so encouraging seeing their desperation for the Lord and their desperation just for like a touch of Jesus. And that really has like increased my faith, as well as just seeing the fear and anxiety, depression, and just everything that these students have been carrying, just being able to watch that being broken off of them. And I'm so excited for everything else that he has in store for them, because, you know, we've also been talking about that, like, he's not done. His work with them is not finished yet. There is so much more in store in this next year, and this is just the beginning. Like, we're gonna keep, as RJ was like encouraging us, just to keep fanning that flame inside of them, because yes, it's gonna reach and just start flooding into their families, into their schools, into the Washington area, and maybe even, like, you know, into the region. Like, it is just so encouraging and such a privilege. So yeah.
I came to camp lost in myself and lost in my faith, because a year ago, today marks a really, I guess, a pinnacle point in my faith. And I just know that camp, when I went, I wasn't expecting much. But when I met my cabin, and I knew that I had brothers and that I made friends there. But most importantly, with the family that I lost last year, I know that over the past 4 days when we were at camp, I gained new. And I am just so grateful for everyone who is there for me at camp. Because I know that if it wasn't for them, I'd probably still be a little bit lost. So I thank you guys. Thank you.
I came to camp recently losing my dad to suicide. And it wasn't even in Washington. I had to move back here in order to recover from that. And I used to come to OCC a lot, way back, and then I stopped because something happened here that I didn't like, so I left. And then my dad died, and one day my mom came up to me, and she was like, OCC's having their camp again, and I had nothing to do. I just lost my dad, I was hopeless, and I was really looking for a father in every single way that I could. And I came to camp, and I was so lost the first couple days, and then I found that father. And I moved on, and I looked up at him, and I was like, Lord, will you be here for me? And he said, yes, I will. And now I have a father that I found at camp and friends.
Come on.
I went to camp before camp, I didn't know if I was going to go. It was I think I decided the last Sunday before camp, 3 days before we left to go. I was hurt prior to that, so I just didn't know I was going. I figured I would go more for fun and to be with my friends than anything, because I felt like I was in a good spot. Going there, the first couple days were amazing, and I found myself more praying for other people, speaking with my friends, speaking to my friends than anything. Then I got hurt again. And that put me on crutches, put me on the bench pretty much, and it really forced me to slow down and really realize why I was there, why I decided last second to go. And that was to find something within myself, and it wasn't so much find healing, but it was to find what I wanted to do next, what my next calling was. And that was to kind of, lack of a better term, feel like a bigger brother, older brother for most of the friends and my younger cabin mates that I had. And that day after I got hurt was the first day I really spent time doing devotion and reading. And I happened to read the same passage that was read to me later that night by Pastor G when he called us up. And that's when I realized that's really there. There's no excuses for me to do and sit around and say, oh, I'm hurt, oh, I'm injured, oh, I'm this and that. That's not an excuse, and that's what I found at camp.
You tried to skip me. Hi, you guys. I'm Mia. I am one of the junior high leaders at youth. I've been going to these youth camps for about 9 years, even though I look like a student. I came to camp, and if I'm being completely honest, I come forward and I come to you guys with a lot of joy on my face, but for the last 3 years, I felt nothing but that. All I felt was this anger towards God, this confusion as to why I was so sick, why the one thing that I felt like I had failed me, and I held that against God for years. And not only did that affect who I was, who I thought I was, but it affected everything and the value that I put on my life and the value that I put on God. And I came to this camp like, okay, God, like, if you're here, move. And when I tell you that I haven't felt God as tangibly as I have this last week, as I have in 3 years that I did. I felt so hopeless. I felt like my life, I couldn't keep pushing. I was so afraid. And I've never seen as many lives saved. I've never seen as many lives encountering God as I did this week. And I've been going to camp for this long. And I can say with full confidence that going to camp and feeling God and hearing God for the first time in years so clearly is something that saved my life. It didn't just save my life, but it saved so many students' lives. And it affected not just the students, but the leaders, and everything that we did, you saw him move. And I'm so thankful that I got the opportunity to not just be there with your students and pour into your students, but to grow with them. Because when these students say that their lives have been changed forever, we always hear that, but it's so true, and they have been. So I'm so thankful, and that's what I got from camp. Oh, this one got longer.
I came into camp loving God, knowing that he loves me, but I had a lot of doubt, fear, anxiety, really bad anxiety. I used to be a huge people person until I came into the Lord, and I really felt like the devil was really taking that away from me. He was really hindering me and holding me back. But I can say at camp, every fear, every anxiety, all of it just went away. Praise God. Also, unforgiveness for things that I thought I had forgiven people for, like my dad, who fortunately left. That with people who've done me wrong, done my family wrong. It was just hard, to hold that unforgiveness, and I can say that unforgiveness is gone. Completely awesome. The way that I saw the Lord work, and not only the youth, not the high schoolers, but also the middle schoolers, was crazy. The love of God was just in the whole room, and you can see on everyone's face, no matter where they came from. And just seeing that just increased my faith so much, knowing that the Lord is here for this generation, is going to rise us up and really use us as a revelation to the people around us. I can say everyone at camp got touched by the Lord, and everyone just got totally wrecked. And it was awesome seeing and be able to pray for people for the things that are coming in their life. And yeah, camp was sick. Camp was awesome. It was, yeah.
All right. So going to camp, one thing I ask God for is for godly wisdom. Overall, my relationship with God would be here and there. It would be mostly because of my parents. But I can truly say from camp, I have got a true relationship with God. And even during school, I had a problem with following people. And even the pastor right here, she said that God spoke to me, or God spoke to her to say that I meant to be a leader. And I can truly say that he really showed me how to be a leader at camp. He talked to me like I could hear him, and it was amazing. He told me to pray for people. Me and Jaron, we were praying for people. God was touching them. It was amazing. And one thing God touched me about with the first night was forgiveness. And I would hold grudges for people. It was a bad thing, but after the first day Pastor Franklin spoke, I could truly say that all the people who have let me down in life, I truly forgave them. And amen, amen, amen.
So, if you couldn't tell, my name's Nehemiah. I came to camp kind of feeling hopeless and empty. I kind of came because my friend Katie, she was as a Christian, and I was too. So I was like, oh, cool, a camp full of other believers. I wasn't expecting to change how I am today. Just coming to camp and really feeling the Holy Spirit like never before. Like to surround yourself with other believers like this, and everybody just worshiping like the true God, the living God. It's just so awesome. And I've been praying for the gift of tongues for a while, I would say. And I came to camp, like, I think it was the second last day, and I randomly just started speaking in tongues. Like, it was... It was amazing. It was amazing. I don't even know what I'm saying, but it was it was awesome. It was like the best experience I've ever had in my life, and I'm hoping we do this again next year or something, because this was really awesome. So I just kind of wanted to thank you guys all, like all you guys.
My name's Jonathan, and I went to camp feeling enclosed, like I knew people and I didn't know people. And so that was one of the things that I was worried about, is like I'd be in a cabin room with people that I didn't know. And once I got there, once I met everyone, it was really fun. And the favorite part about camp was worship. And yeah, it just made me a happier person.
My name's Nani, and it was my first time going to camp, and it was just like absolutely amazing there. But I came to camp with zero confidence, and I had so much anxiety that I wasn't going to meet anybody, and I had so much doubt that everybody was like judging me, and I had also doubt that God would not change me, but He did. And I know that He broke off all the anxiety, because I would not be here on the stage right now. When I went to camp, I felt a bigger connection with God that I've never felt before. And I met new people that I didn't even think I was going to meet. And yeah, it was amazing.
So I'm Aaliyah, and I'm tired. That's what camp did. I'm tired. So I've had 2 camp experiences now, and the first one was it was great. I was happy. I left camp so filled with joy. This time, it was just all about challenges and God challenging me, and not only that, but I was on the sidelines. I was watching others and seeing what God can do. So now I was more exposed to God, and I felt like He was actually talking to me, not me deciding if He was talking to me. And I came into camp thinking these are the challenges I need to work on. I need to not judge people. I need to this. And then He gave me new challenges that I didn't even know I needed to face. And so I'm a little confused, but at the same time I'm not. I know that I faced these challenges, but now it's do I really know what I need to do? So I left camp tired, but educated, I guess, of His word.
My name's Chris. Before camp, I wasn't in the best spot. My friend got shot and he died, and I was around the wrong group of people. But and I had a lot of anger in me too. But when I went to camp, it was like the first time I've ever cried to a worship song. And like, I felt him talking to me, and he was like showing me the path I should go. And now I have a stronger connection with him, and I'm just letting him lead the way for me. And that's all.
Hi, I'm Janaya, and honestly, when I came to camp, I went last year, and it low-key changed my life, because last year, I'm not gonna lie, I really did not really care about God. I knew he existed, but I wasn't really thinking about him like that. And so when I came and I was like, okay, this is actually legit. I was like, when my mom was like, oh yeah, camp registration opened up, I was one of the first people on there. So, yeah, really, actually, my mom, she be on it. Shout out to Jana. Anyway, so as you guys can probably tell from the 2 seconds I've been talking, I'm one of those people who are they classify as funny, but even after a 35 second conversation, 35-minute conversation, you still don't really know much about me. I think that camp has really changed me, because most of my life, I've been one who I take critique really, really hard. And I really lean into the labels are given me. If they're not medical, oh, you have ADHD, you have borderline personality disorder, it's either, oh, you're annoying, and okay, I'm annoying, I guess, that kind of sucks, you know? So, or just other things like that. And I realized that I usually cling to my validation from other people, and I'm starting but one of the things about that is, though it's kind of glorified in the culture, you'd be okay, I guess I'm this way, I don't care. I kind of took on that persona, but it's actually really toxic, because that doesn't leave room for you to grow. And so when I went to church and I was around all these amazing people just praising and all of that, God, he just told me, he was yes, you are this, but I made you this way. I gave you a lot of energy. There's nothing wrong with you, but I gave you all that energy so you can jump up and down and praise me. And, and just be that light that I'm called to be in this low-key, dark, and a little bit twisted culture. And I just am very grateful to all the people who broke me out my shell, because I've been here for it's my 4th year now at this church. And I want to say 3 of them I did not talk. So just breaking me out this shell, and I think he gave me a lot of spiritual gifts. So if you're a parent or anyone in the audience, I say, take your kid and be get your butt to that camp, because it's really gonna help.
Hi, I'm Madison, and I actually never thought I'd be at this camp. It was the Sunday before camp started, and I was at church, and something told me that I needed to go. So I was like, okay, I'll go. But for the last 5 years, I've been fighting myself. And this year, I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression, and it's been super hard on me. And I feel like the last 5 years, I've just been mad at God and not praising him. And going to this camp, I never expected what I expected. I think I've cried the last 5 days more than I ever have, but they're not sad tears, they're healing tears. Because I know God is doing something for me, and it's a good thing. And this is the closest I've ever been to God in my entire life, and I'm so glad that I'm gone to this camp, and I'm so thankful for all the people I met, and it was such a great experience.
Hi, I'm Katie. I went to camp being a Christian, or at least I thought I was a Christian. I told myself I was a Christian and others. But I never actually saw God moving in my life or feeling him. I didn't feel like I knew him, and I actually felt like he didn't pay attention to me really. I was just kind of on the side or not as important as others to him. And it was actually like the day before, I believe, where I was telling my mom that I didn't want to go to camp because I just felt like I wasn't needed there, or I just didn't feel like going. And actually that night, I had this weird urge to pray. It wasn't really a good prayer, but yeah, I was kind of doubting it, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna pray. And I was asking God, I was kind of confused. I was like, I don't know why I'm like really needed here. I felt like, well, yeah, since I didn't feel God moving in my life, I felt like I was just there for like no reason. And I actually kind of I knew everyone had their time, and if he wanted me to keep going, I was gonna keep going, but I kind of wanted my time to be like soon. I was kind of just tired and felt empty. But the next day I went to camp. I kind of just like forced myself to go. I was like, I'm gonna get it over with. And it was literally that one day, that night, I was already feeling him. And it was really cool because the first service, while we were singing, I saw everyone like praising God. And they were on their knees, or they were like had their hands up. And I like felt him in the room. And I felt him not only in others, but I started feeling him in myself. And since that day and throughout the entire week, I felt him more and more. And I started feeling more purpose. I started feeling close to him. And I felt him speak to me. And it was amazing, yeah. And I really think now that I know him more, and I think that he loves me. And yeah, I'm really glad I like feel like I actually became a real Christian. And it's really cool, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hi, I'm Elena, and before coming to camp, I definitely was lonely, lost, and hurt. I felt like I was alone, and coming to camp was the best thing that ever happened to me. Those 4 days were literally amazing, and I experienced something amazing, and I just met wonderful, wonderful people who changed my life forever. And yeah.
Hi, I'm Isabel. I'm really nervous. So I came to camp unwatchingly and with a lot of anxious thoughts. I just lost my mom to a big battle of addiction, and I was mad at God. I was sad. I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression, and I was struggling with eating disorders. So that took a big toll on me. I started having physical symptoms. I started losing my hair. I just felt empty, and I felt scared. I felt anxious. On the first few days of camp, I wanted to go home so bad. I had about 100 breakdowns. But I had some really amazing camp counselors there with me, and they helped me get through it. I was wondering why I wasn't feeling God, and why I guess everyone else was crying and feeling his presence and I wasn't. So I just kept praying, I kept worshiping him. It was just beautiful. On the last day, I was gonna go home, and I decided to stay. And that day, I experienced God in a wonderful way. I had a lot of girls come over to me and start praying with me. It was really beautiful. And I had one of the camp counselors, Thais, she came up to me and she told me that my mom was proud of me and that she was with me. And that helped me get through that last night. And I just felt her with me. She told me, I heard my mom, she said, "I'm here with you, Belle, and I love you." And that just helped me a lot. And I don't know, I met really amazing people. I met Elena, and that was also something that helped me stay at camp. My dad actually came to come get me, and then I said, nope, I want to stay. And then he was even changed. It was really amazing. He's not a Christian himself, but he said, "I want you to stay because God has plans for you." And I said, okay, I will do that. So I stayed, and I got through it, and I ended up going home a little early. But once I got home, I felt changed, and I don't think I would be up here. right now. I actually just got baptized. I didn't want to get baptized. I obviously did not come in the apparel to get baptized, but I ended up getting baptized, and I just cannot stop smiling. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone, especially the camp counselors. You helped me get through so much, and I'm really excited to start this new journey with God. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bella, for those of you that didn't hear them yelling. I have struggled for a long time with like anger and allowing that to build up and kind of create walls with people. And I had realized that I had started allowing myself to isolate myself, allowing the devil to get in my mind and convince myself that I was losing relationships with everybody, including my family, which really sucked. And so I started feeling numb before camp. I was like, everything that I was feeling was sad, and I convinced myself that I didn't want to go to camp. But even in that, when I was like, you know what, I don't care if I go, if I don't go, I still went, and I was crying and I was praying, and I was like, God, I just feel so alone. And the moment I said those words, my sister came up to me and she started praying over me, and she started talking to me, and immediately it was like God saying that I wasn't alone. And then I continued praying, and I was like, God, I really want an opportunity to get closer with my parents again, because I had allowed myself to let the devil in and convince myself that that they weren't there, but they're the best parents I could ask for. And so it was even last night after camp, it hit me because I was praying for an opportunity to fix things with my parents, and he gave that to me. And obviously it didn't come at like the most ideal time for me, because I just felt so lost. But after talking to my parents, and my mom wouldn't let me go to bed without us talking and breaking everything down that I was scared about and that I was angry, it really just showed me how much that God really cares about me, and that even after camp, that he's still moving in my life and still showing me how much that he's put people in my life. So coming out of camp now, I really feel like I am loved, and that even in the hard times that I can still count on the people he's put in my life. So yeah, that's it.
Hi. Okay. Hi, my name's Emerald. The reason I'm shivering is because I got baptized, and and partially fear too, like 60-40%, but I won't tell you which is which. So I went to camp this year, and I knew the Lord, and I wanted to live in His Word, but I didn't know how to make that next step. And when I went to camp, at first I had been trying, I was worshiping, and I was trying to be with the Lord, but I realized that it was not the worshiping that would get me to the Lord. It was the opening of my heart and the support that everybody was showing me was truly helpful. With my self-doubt, with myself, and my journey with the Lord. And so he really showed me that he was the best place for me, that he was the journey,
that my journey to him would be worth it completely. And he let go of fears that I have had for years, and a guilt that I thought I needed, that I thought was keeping me grounded, that I thought was just gonna have to be part of me forever, and he let that go. He let it go.
First of all, can we give it up for all these people here for their bravery, their courage, and I know their legs hurt from standing there so long. We're almost done, guys. But man, camp was great this year, and I could talk about a lot of things. I could talk about my boys. I could talk about how Pink Team got cheated, but we won't talk about none of that. But one thing that I do want to say, it's not really my personal testimony, but something I was able to witness was the spiritual battle that was going on during camp. You know, you hear people say all the time that everything's spiritual. You know, it's always, the kingdom of God versus the kingdom of darkness. But me, I was a leader last year, but it was really just kind of, fun. I was just trying to win the games. I didn't really, care. I cared, but this year I got to really witness the fight, and I got to fight for these kids. And I just really want the students to be aware that you guys are on the winning team, and you guys have already won. And I want to encourage all the parents in the room as well to fight for your kids too. The enemy is after these kids, especially after what happened at camp. And he is going to attack relentlessly. But we serve a God that is greater than anything else in this world. We are filled with the Spirit that is greater than any other spirit that can come upon us. So I just really am so grateful because of you guys and because of what I got to witness. I really feel like I matured a lot as a leader and just as a son of God. So that's what I got. Thank you.